Hello, everyone, and welcome to KHM Today, your weekly resource for industry news and straight up fun. I'm your host, Carolyn Orff, and today is December 20th, 2023. You guys, can you believe it? It is our last show of 2023. It has been a really fantastic year. I can't thank the team behind this show enough. We just have a really fun time each week putting it together for all of you. So I hope you've enjoyed it. It is going to be a very busy travel season. Again, Thanksgiving was busy, but the next week and a half is also going to hit records with about 115 million people traveling. So be on the lookout, be available, make sure you have your plans all in place so that you too can enjoy the holidays. I don't know about you guys, but I'm feeling kind of all over the place with kids coming and going. Some are taking finals, some are doing nothing, and it just has me like totally frazzled. So I'm hoping that we can all find some calm before the storm in the next couple of days. And I hope you can do that with me today as we welcome our first guest. As you know, the busyness of the holiday season is a little rough for everyone. So on Monday, I had the opportunity to sit down with one of our favorite suppliers, Norwegian Cruise Line, and Soleil Domagala, the National Director of Sales. Here's a quick video. Enjoy the conversation. This last conversation of the year. I can't even believe that we made it this far. So please welcome Soleil Domagala with Norwegian Cruise Line. Welcome, Soleil.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Happy holidays. Are you ready?
I am. I got a balmy 59 degrees in Miami this week. So this is it. This is game time for us.
I love it. Well, I have to say, it doesn't hurt my feelings when I wake up in Denver and it's 50 degrees out on Christmas Day. I kind of like that. Nice walk with the dog. It works well for me. But we're so excited that you are here on this final show day. We're pre-recording because of crazy schedules. But 2023 has been amazing. It's been amazing for NCL, and it's been amazing for the cruise industry as a whole. What are some of the things that you have just gotten super excited about this year?
Ooh, okay. So two of them, I'm going to separate them out as two because technically they're two. So a couple weeks ago, we actually just finally took delivery of Norwegian Viva. So she's been long anticipated. I don't know if anyone watching has had the privilege of jumping on board Prima, but Viva is very much like her sister. So if you've seen one, you've seen the other. There are slight changes. But essentially what I think is very exciting is that this is really the future of where Norwegian as a brand is going forward. So while I do have my favorites, when it comes to the Breakaway Plus class, like the Joy, the Bliss, the Encore, I think the Prima class and, the Viva as well is really kind of that first stepping stone into what the future of Norwegian looks like, what we're looking to do and revolutionize the industry. We have more open space on these two ships than we have in any other ship that we have in our fleet, which is absolutely crazy. And it's I remember I went on one other brand a few years ago and I'm just like, I had a balcony, don't get me wrong, but it was one of those like, I feel like I'm on a ship, which is great, but I don't feel like I'm connecting with the ocean or like I can feel the breeze in my hair. That's absolutely not the case on Prima and Viva. So it actually the oceanfront goes all the way around deck 8 of the ship. There's slides, there's infinity pools. There's one bar called Soleil Bar on the back aft of the ship on both of these ships, which I've got to say is probably going to be my favorite place. I'm a little biased.
Yeah.
So, but
way to go. That must have been some planning meeting where you were like, I've got the name for the bar.
I'm just like, that's it. Like I can leave now and everything is good. My legacy is sealed.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, so I'm very excited about Viva coming online. And then one of the other things I'm really excited for is, we can't just have an entire class of ships be exactly the same. We learn, we take feedback, and we make modifications as we go along. And that's really how we hone in our ships and make them, even though they're in the same class and they're all sisters, slightly different, give them each their own personality. So we announced Norwegian Aqua, which if you haven't seen the whole art for this, please take a look at it. It is so bright. It is so colorful. I think it's one of the first hall arts that we've done that's actually done by a female artist, which I think is
Wow.
also pretty
Mhm.
incredible. And it's just very vibrant. And I feel like it just really encapsulates the energy of this ship. She's actually also a little bit longer than the Viva and the Prima. So she offers a little bit more space, but don't worry, we haven't, changed the class size too significantly. But that also gives us an opportunity to have new venue spaces on board the ship. And one thing that we even took from feedback is on Viva and Prima, which I didn't realize at first, and I feel like I should have, there's no teens club on board because there just wasn't.
Really?
Yeah, see, I didn't know when someone mentioned it, I'm like, no, there is, and of course there is. Like, no, there's not. But on Aqua now, we took that feedback because that was something that was
Mhm.
lacking, and because we have the extra space now, we were able to incorporate that. So little things like that, and this is, I think, the first ship in a very long time where we don't have a speedway on board on the top of the ship. We actually have an aqua coaster. So this is pretty interesting. We've worked with a company who develops the Hulk roller coaster in Orlando.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, see, that's what I do. I'm just like, this is on top of the ship. Let's remember this here. And they actually helped us appropriately scale it for the top of a vessel so you don't just go flying.
Right.
So it's actually kind of a launch sequence where you're on like a little sled, but you're dry, but you're in water. It's very interesting to see. And it's actually kind of two dueling slides that go on at the same time. So you can actually ride it twice and have two separate experiences, but also stay dry while being in water. It's very neat. So just, I love seeing how these new ships are coming out and with the new innovations of like, how can we top this next? What can
Mhm.
we do to make this a little better? And just kind of utilize that space while still keeping the luxury and that high end feel that we
Mhm.
want for the future of our company going forward.
I
Um,
love that. I love when I see things being built upon instead of
yes.
scrapped and start over again, right? There's always good pieces to everything. And I think that's what sometimes frustrates the market is when we completely get rid of everything we loved and
Yes,
start over and you're like, no, 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 but I liked all of this. We just need to improve this. So I love that that seems to be the philosophy behind making some of those changes.
exactly. And to your point of kind of building on something that works and not, kind of doing away and starting over, we made an announcement this year, which in case you didn't catch, I'll go ahead and I'll mention it. It's really cool because our studio staterooms are something that we pioneered in the industry, where these are priced and designed for the solo traveler. So it really started with the Norwegian Epic, where we had these. They're kind of in like their little enclave area that has key card access. They have their own lounge. They have concierge service that'll put together events for guests traveling in the studios. And even though it's studio staterooms, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be traveling alone. You can be traveling as part of a larger group. But let's
Mhm.
say it's, Uncle Tom, who no one wants to room with, or college age kids,
Yeah.
or just past that age who don't necessarily want to bunk with their cousins or family and they kind of want their own space. You can put them there as well. We've honestly even seen couples who just, they're like, I want my own space. I kid you not. We've seen them. It's like either he snores or she snores. The stories we get are
Yep.
hysterical. So, but they will each have their own kind of studio stateroom. That way they're just like, we're together,
Yep.
but we have that separation.
Mhm.
So we're really excited that we had this, and it always sold really well on any ships that we had it on. But the feedback was always, they're always kind of an inside room because they're
Mhm.
on this, protected part of the ship. Well, we went ahead and we made an announcement that now, especially come the new year, we will have bookable on almost all of our ships that allowed for us to do that because we recategorized them. We are going to have studio insides, ocean views, and balconies. So even though they are not
Wow.
in like physically inside the ship, we are still categorizing it as a studio. That way you have the benefits of being a studio pricing. That way you don't have to pay the double supplement or the
Mhm.
200%, but then you also have the advantage of all the space. So this is something that has
Oh.
really kind of taken that studio concept or studio stateroom concept and taken it to that next level. So we've recategorized a handful of cabins, appropriately on each of the vessels. So this is going to be something that even though the ship might not physically have a studio
Mhm.
complex, they're still going to have studio accommodations that the advisors can utilize. It's really cool.
I'm almost speechless because I feel like it's something that's been asked for years,
Right.
and it truly shows that you're not just hearing, but you're listening, and you're very tuned in
Mm-hmm.
to what the guests have been asking for since the studios came out on the Epic so many years ago. I've put my mom in one of those, and she loved it.
Yeah.
But the fact that a balcony would be an option and not be double the price, huge, absolutely huge. So well done, NCL.
Thank you. Yes,
Cool.
I'll take credit for that in the bar.
Yeah, right. I love it. Okay, so in 2025-26, because let's face it, 2024 is pretty much sold out. We still have space,
yes.
but it's unreal. And heaven forbid you need Alaska. That's a tough one.
Yes.
That's a tough one. I've been getting a lot of calls for
Good.
Alaska. And I'm like, they're like, well, this shouldn't be a problem, right? And I'm like, oh, like how flexible
Yeah, at
are
this
you?
point, yeah, it's a problem.
It's a cabin here and a cabin there.
Mm-hmm.
But you have some really cool and unique itineraries coming out that we should all be super excited about.
Yes, absolutely. So, and not to your point, not to discount Alaska. I love Alaska; it's my personal favorite. But I do the same thing when someone will tell me, "Oh, we're thinking about doing Alaska next year." I kind of cringe a little bit. I'm like, "Can you do it the following year? Because this year's it's kind of we're done."
Yeah,
But no, to your point, we did have just I think last week or so we had new deployment that opened up for sale, and while it's absolutely crazy to think that we do have from October of 25 to March of 26. 2026 right now, like we're still in 23. So
yeah.
the fact that we are thinking this far out, I mean, A is fabulous because I'm a huge planner. I love planning my calendar as far out as possible to kind of make all arrangements. And I know others out there are the same. But with this, it gives us the ability to really price accordingly.
Mhm.
And it gives us the ability to kind of really adjust the not only itineraries, but to see where the demand is going forward for any future new deployments. So there's a handful of them that I'm particularly really excited about. So Norwegian Viva, we just talked about her a few minutes ago. We have gotten such incredible feedback of having ships in Galveston.
Mhm.
I remember when we first announced it, and everyone was, for other ships, and there was kind of a mixed bag. Like we internally, I mean, we're in Miami, we're in the cruise capital of the world. We know down the street, it's great. But when we were thinking like, okay, Galveston, like, okay, let's see what this does, because we hadn't gone there in years,
Yep.
out of Texas, and the feedback we got from the trade was so incredibly positive, and we said, okay, all right, so it's like, let's do this. It's like, if you sell it and you have it perform well, we will bring back newer ships and we will continue having this be a regular rotation. So now with Norwegian Viva as part of this new deployment, we actually will be putting Norwegian Viva there from right after Thanksgiving of 25 all the way through April of 26. So she'll be there for Thanksgiving, for the holidays, for New Year's, for spring break, and having a brand new ship like this there is incredible. And when we did open up Prima, when she was there, the group space, whenever it opened up for sale, I think the first destination that sold out of group space was Galveston. So if there's anyone watching this who wants group space on Viva out of Galveston, please get on it if you haven't already, because this is going to be incredibly popular, especially on the heels of Prima being there previously.
Galveston is an easy destination for a lot of people, especially when you are west.
We quickly learned that, yeah.
You can get down there same day, which again, we never truly recommend that, but you can do it.
It's possible, yeah.
It's easy, but that port, it is all about the ship.
Yes.
The ports of call are fine.
Yeah.
But it's the ship. And you're really going because you want that getaway. You want to feel pampered. You need a vacation. You want to see water. But where that boat lands is not always as important.
I was just going to say, yeah. And especially if for avid cruisers, leaving out of sometimes a certain port, it's the, I have a friend of mine who's been like, oh, where's the ship going? Like, I don't know. I'll find out when I get there. I'd be like, I'll find out when I get there. It goes to the same place. I'm here for the ship itself. you know, I think if we have to go to Nassau one more time, I'm staying on board. I love Nassau, but we're done. So with the Viva, it's really nice because she's going to be doing 7-day Western Caribbean from Galveston. So it's going to be on a very predictable weekly rotation, and then there's actually going to be 2 14-day Eastern Caribbean sailings. So there'll be that slight mix in there for anyone who kind of wants to be able to have a much longer experience on there. And again, or maybe just experience a little bit more of the ship.
I love it. Okay, so when we got the Caribbean, now do I see Africa, Asia, South America? Like this is all on the list?
Yes. So with part of this new deployment, of course, yes, Caribbean is very exciting, especially for like new cruisers and especially you have new ships because everyone loves the Caribbean. But part of this new deployment, we do have all over the world. And it's part of what we're doing of taking a page from our sister brands. So once we joined forces with Oceania and Regent, we've seen success with their longer, more immersive itineraries. So we want to start doing that as well. So with the new deployment, like I said, Africa is on there, Asia, South America, Caribbean, Antarctica, even. So we call these extraordinary journeys. So if you're ever kind of browsing or looking on our website or looking at any of our trade pieces, this is going to be under the section called extraordinary journeys, which are these more immersive products. So one of them that I heard about that was coming out, which I don't know about you, I'm dying to go to Japan. I think it's just one of the coolest places. I won't be able to read or pronounce anything, but I am here for it food-wise and just the absolute beauty. But of course, we know, like anywhere else, there are seasons and there are best times to go to certain places. So the Norwegian Sun is actually going to be going to Japan in the fall, which is going to have the fall foliage. And this is something that I've seen photos of, and it's absolutely breathtaking. Like you think that the cherry blossoms in the spring is something worth seeing. Well, this is equally as impressive.
Really?
Yes. And it's really nice because then it does that and it goes kind of like in a pretty immersive itinerary that takes your time because there's a lot to see in Japan. And it'll go to like these much smaller ports along the way that isn't just Tokyo. So it kind of is a full immersive Japanese itinerary. And then once the sun is done there, because it's only one sailing or so that really has the in-depth Japan, it then goes from Southeast Asia itineraries that capitalizes on all that beautiful weather that time of year. So it's going to be really the first time that we call on a lot of these ports with this ship, which is not something that we've done before.
And so where will it port out of?
So for this one, I actually have a little cheat sheet for myself here because there's no way that I was going to be able to remember it. So she is actually going to be calling out of. So I'm not going to be able to pronounce this properly, but like one of the itineraries is leaving out of Seoul, and then she's going to be going to Okinawa and then to Kyoto, 2 ports in Kyoto, one Kobe, one Osaka, Hiroshima, Mount Fuji, Nagoya. It's an 11-day open jaw sailing.
But it sounds like it leaves out of South Korea.
So for this one, it does because it features in Japan, but it ends over in Tokyo. And then from there is when it continues and it kind of backtracks across Southeast Asia.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So it's, like I said, it's very different from the Caribbean standard Alaska, Europe itineraries, but we've seen so much success with these types of itineraries. And of course, it's for those who have the means and the time to be able to do this, but we're seeing more and more of that demographic skew younger, which is interesting because that's not something we've seen in the past.
All right. So Soleil, this is an immersive itinerary, kind of like a Mediterranean itinerary where you're very port intensive and get to do all your traveling at night so that you can see and do during the day. Amazing. Oh, I can't wait for that to go on sale. That's
it's open now. So be sure to
go. It is open now.
Yes.
That's one to promote for sure. Absolutely. Okay. What else is exciting? We've got Africa.
We do have Africa. So we have those. But one of the ones I do want to mention instead is the Star, because this one I think is going to be the one that's probably going to make people go, So the Star, I believe she did it this year. And I was actually on the Star for vacation on a London to Lisbon itinerary, and I was talking to some of the crew because I'm like, I always like to talk about where are
Mhm.
you going, where's the ship, where are you from, kind of just make conversation with them. And they were telling me that where the ship was going to go next is actually something that we're duplicating again for this winter season for 25 going into 26. So the ship is doing London to Lisbon and then doing Canary Islands, and then it's going
Wow.
to do a transatlantic, and then it's going to do itineraries out of Rio, out of Brazil, and then it is going to do 8 Antarctica sailings from South America. So you're going all the way from London. I mean, if you have the time to be able
Right.
to spend on the ship from London to Antarctica, that would be really cool. But it's actually one of the only ships. My husband did a behind the scenes tour on the Star when we were on vacation a few months ago, and he was saying that the engineers on board are saying that the Sun is one of the only couple ships in our entire fleet that's hull is designed to actually be an icebreaker. So it's one of the only ships that can actually go do Antarctica sailings, which I just think it's super cool. Of course, it's probably not the jump off the side of like a
Right, right.
catamaran, jump in the water and like do all that, but how cool.
But I have to tell you, I have had a lot of clients. The word Antarctica comes up in just about every other email I
A
get.
surprising amount, yeah.
And a lot don't. You've got those that do want that expedition feel, and that you've got
Mhm.
those that just really want to say they've been there.
Yes.
Even if
Yes.
they've just seen from afar, they're good with that. So
Mhm.
this is very exciting. This gives us as advisors another opportunity to sell the destination in a different way that might hit more of our clientele.
Exactly, exactly. Because to your point, not everyone would necessarily be able to have either the time, the cost, the physical ability to be
Mhm.
able to do an expedition kind of experience. So this is kind of a nice way to give them what they're looking for, but still give them the comforts of
Mhm.
a contemporary line that they might be more familiar with.
Wow, so much excitement. All
Yeah.
right, we've got just another minute or two. What else do you need to share so that we are prepared for the future of NCL?
Ooh. I wasn't prepared for that one. Lots of new changes coming. So keep your eye out for Partners First updates in Q1. Nothing that I'm able to share just quite yet, but it's always going to be very exciting. Another thing that I would remind everyone to focus on with Norwegian is groups. Groups is absolutely a integral part of growing and building your business. And even if you're already established, it's a nice way to continue that easy work and
Mhm.
continue to keep your clients happy. And maybe if it's one of those things where you have not seen Aviva or Prima, or of course no one's seen Aqua just quite yet, but if you haven't experienced what the future of Norwegian is yet, this is your call to action to go ahead and book a group on one of these ships and go yourself. Go ahead and
Mhm.
experience it as well, because I think everyone who maybe has not been on our brand in a very long time or even has not seen these new ships coming forward, I think they're going to be very, very impressed. I quite frankly call Prima Class like a baby Oceania ship, because it's that level of luxury. And
Mhm.
it does, I've said it before on these KHM todays where these ships are built in Italy. So there's a lot of nooks and crannies. So you have to kind of explore the ship and kind
Yeah.
of go as you walk, there's lots of little spaces versus our Breakaway Plus class and all of our other ships, which are also still some of my favorites, were built in Germany, which everything is very linear. So it's very one straight line down the middle of the ship and everything kind of spokes out from there. So it just depends on what kind of feel you're going for. But if you haven't been on Norwegian in a while, take a group out, take an affinity group. This is one of the most incredible group programs in the industry. Escort the group yourself, work with our special events team as well as with your BDM to put together just kind of some really easy key experiences for your guests on board to just kind of take it up a notch.
Mhm.
And yeah.
I don't know that I've had anyone ever explain kind of the way the ships work. And I loved what you said about kind of just the cultural inference of how where the ship is built
Yeah.
plays a part in kind of that design aspect. And you're right, when you think of a German built ship, it's very psh, you know. And when I think of Italy, I think of winding streets and cobblestone and getting lost, but not afraid to get lost. And
Yes.
that kind of is the picture that you've painted
And
for these new ships.
I can't think of a better way to explain it. So that's a good way, if anyone hasn't physically been on board yet,
Right.
that's what you can expect between the two classes of ships.
I love it. What a fantastic. See, way to go out with a bang, Soleil.
Thank you.
2023 is in the books. Thank you so much for being here. Have a wonderful Christmas with that babe and new babe on the way. And we look forward to a wonderful 2024 with you guys.
Thank you. Likewise.
All right, you guys, I hope you enjoyed that conversation with Soleil. She is one of my favorite people in the industry. I think she just has a great perspective and really shares her thoughts with on NCL really well with us. So I'm happy to see so many of you in the chat today. It's wonderful to see you. I hope you're having a wonderful week. Let's go ahead and bring on another fan favorite, Amy Garner, who is our DE&I coordinator for KHM Travel Group. She is here to share some New Year's traditions from around the world. Hi, Amy.
Hey, Carolyn. Thanks for having me again.
Oh my gosh. So I was reading kind of your bullet points for this episode and I just was cracking up. So I can't wait to get into some of these traditions with you. So let's start on the home field. What typically do we see kind of in the US as far as US traditions?
I mean, we love to drop things, whether it is the ball dropping in New York or, like a lot of small towns do things they're famous for. So the potato drop in Idaho, or there's a town in Pennsylvania that's called like Dillsville that drops a pickle. So we love to drop things. We love to blow things up.
And fireworks,
also
sparklers, things like that. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. And, and making our resolutions too, but also eating. Down here in Louisiana, we have very specific traditions that I was unaware of before I moved here. But you have to eat collard greens, you have to eat black-eyed peas, you have to eat pork, and each one of them symbolize something. So, each year my kids will choke down one bite of black-eyed peas.
Are there any other traditions that you guys hold to during this time of year?
We kind of keep it simple. We're like hang out at home and have fireworks. My dad was in law enforcement, so he used to bribe me to stay home, and I've continued that trend where I just stay put for New Year's.
We typically don't do the big get dressed up, go out to dinner thing. For years, we've been doing things with friends, doing game nights, things like that. This year's changing a little bit, but we're kind of the stay close to home kind of people too, which just kind of makes me feel better. I'm just a homebody though, so that's me. So talking about food traditions, I actually knew some of these because of the people that we know in our area. We've got friends from Colombia, we've got friends from Brazil, a lot of friends from Spain. And so in Spain, they eat the 12 white grapes for good luck.
Yeah. Yes. And it's like a serious thing. They want to try to eat all 12 grapes within the 12 chimes of the bells when midnight strikes. So that's how you know that you're going to have good luck.
Okay. And in Japan, it's the soba noodle.
Yeah. Yeah. Which, I mean, I'll eat soba noodles any day. So
it doesn't need to be on New Year's.
I'm like, I think that's a tradition we will take on ourselves for sure.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. And then it's still food related, but in Greece, I thought this one was really fun. You throw pomegranates at the front door, and the number of seeds that come out is the amount of good luck you have.
Yes, yes. And then also they will hang onions around their doors in Greece as well. So the Greek love food around their doors, not to eat, but for different symbolic reasons.
There's no garlic around there, is there, for the vampires?
No.
Okay, so then we talk about cultural traditions, and this one I thought was particularly fun, and I have to ask my Colombian friend this. You carry an empty suitcase around to bring a full year of travel. That is kind of speaking our language, right?
Absolutely. I think everyone needs to get their suitcases out for New Year's and go walk around the block
And
and
post a
bring your
picture on the Agent Only Facebook group page. I want to see them because I think this
Yes.
is really that's a fun one.
Definitely, definitely. I found that one during our first COVID New Year's. I was looking for things to do with the kids to just make it feel more special. And so we did. We walked up and down the street with our suitcases. All of our neighbors are now questioning, like, okie dokie.
I love it. I love it. Okay. And in Turkey, they sprinkle salt on the doorstep for good luck. I feel like that's got a little bit of an Italian flair, right? Because that's over the shoulder.
It does.
Um,
Absolutely.
and that one's easy to
Absolutely.
do. I can do that one.
It's true. That's an easy one.
Can you imagine if someone takes all these ideas and does every single one of them, what that would look like?
I mean, they'll have a buffet at their front doorstep for,
Might have
for
some
any
animals.
visitors that
How
come.
do the Greeks keep the animals from eating the food kind of
That's a great
displayed?
question.
We would have a big
That's a
problem
great-
here. Okay, so then we have let's talk about the things not to do. Now these really made me
Oh my
laugh.
gosh.
So don't eat lobster. When?
Don't eat lobster on New Year's Day because lobsters are known to travel backwards. And so you don't want to be going backwards into the new year.
Ah, okay.
Uh-huh.
So New Year's Eve is
Yep.
okay,
And
just
then
not New
also
Year's
you're
Day.
along the same line.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Correct.
Okay.
And then you don't want to eat chicken either because chickens have wings. So your good luck could fly away.
Okay. All right. So that leaves me
Which,
with a
like,
filet mignon, right? On New Year's
I was
Day.
going to say, I'll take the excuse for a steak, right?
All right. So this one I particularly love because I think it's so funny. Clean your house on New Year's Eve, but not on New Year's Day.
So you don't wash the luck away.
I'll go with that if I don't have to clean any day.
Exactly.
Now, this one I'm not particularly good at. Don't start the year with empty pockets. Why?
Mm-hmm. You want to have cash in your pockets to bring prosperity through the year. You don't want to start with empty pockets, but also not an empty pantry. So you're supposed to get your groceries loaded up before the new year.
Okay.
I love all the symbolism.
One of the funny things lately is both of my kids, now that both are home, keep saying there is no food in the house. And I'm like, you guys, I don't know what to tell you. I've been to the store. I don't know where it is, but I bought it. So I don't know. My refrigerator, I guess, is just very, very large. So no matter what you put in there, it looks like there's no food. But that is the consistent theme I've heard over the last week is there's no food in the house. Okay. Don't leave the house until someone enters from the outside first.
Yes. And there's actually even a tradition that the first person who enters your house also sets the vibes for the year. So you want it to be a dark-haired man. And they're supposed to bring a gift of prosperity, something.
That sounds vaguely like the FedEx man that brings my wine order.
Well, there you go. You just need to make sure you have a delivery scheduled for New Year's Day.
Nope, I'm not opening the door to you. You don't look like the right person I want to come in. That's very funny. Okay. And then I'm big on this. Don't arrive at a house on the new year without bringing a gift. I mean, that's that seems
you never know if you're going to be the first person to cross the threshold. So you don't want to bring them bad luck. You got to bring them a gift.
I love it. Well, Amy, what are you looking forward to most in 2024?
I am honestly looking forward to all of the KHM events that I'm going to be traveling to. It's like I start the year with a bang. I'm going to see everybody at On the Concourse in Orlando, and then I'll be in town for boot camp. So, I mean, my year is just starting strong with my KHM agents, and I'm really excited about that.
When I look at the number of events that I, have going on personally, professionally, I feel like I might just hit my platinum status this year. I'm shy by just a little bit, and I'm okay with that because it was a lot of travel this year. But I'm really excited to see agents in 2024 and just kind of bring more. Every year, I just feel like we keep cranking it up a notch and trying to do more and more and bring more and more to the table. So I'm excited to see you in January.
You too.
Merry
You
Christmas.
too. Bring the hat.
Yeah. Oh, the hat will be retired, but maybe I'll have a new one. You never
I
know.
love it.
Well, Merry Christmas to you, Amy. Have a wonderful time with your family and friends the
Thank
next
you.
week.
I'll see you soon. You too.
All right, you guys, what a fantastic show, but we're not done just yet because you will not believe what we have to share with you. We have a new podcast that is sponsored by KHM, but it is hosted, it is hosted by our own Ashley Newton. It is called Travel Unpacked. It premieres at the very first week of the year on January 5th. Here is a little bit of trailer to get you guys excited.
This is the Travel Unpacked podcast, and here we are going to unpack all things travel from the silly
taxi driver is carrying my feet
to the serious
Listen, guys, this is probably my greatest story.
and everywhere in between.
Who took the time to do all of that? That drives me absolutely crazy.
If you love travel and you like hearing stories and opinions about travel, then you've come to the right place.
Okay, I hope you guys saw that. On my end, I couldn't see anything. So I hope you tune in. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, some laughter and some conversation. So be sure to find that on all your favorite podcast platforms and be sure to like and subscribe. Everyone, thank you for a fantastic 2023. Thank you to all of our sponsors. Thank you to all of our viewers that are live and, of course, watch after the fact on our YouTube channel. I'm looking forward to so much in 2023. January 3rd, we will celebrate our 3rd year anniversary with Rick Zimmerman, Bill Coyle, and David Pritchard, who we just love. Have a wonderful Christmas, happy Kwanzaa, and a very safe and healthy new year. Thanks, everyone, and have a great rest of your week.